Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who has joined us here tonight on the Emergency Management Associates Network tonight. Thank you so much. We're going to start off tonight, as we usually do, with a salute to the United States of America. I would ask everyone now to please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We greatly appreciate these men doing this for us. We greatly appreciate our military of the United States here. We love it. We love each and every one of them. We love our allied military as well, those that serve their own countries and those that help us protect the rest of the world. God bless you all. May you all return home safely after your tours of duty end. We appreciate you ever so much. Thank you for your service. Now, folks, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. We have now dropped 40 subscribers. YouTube has dropped 40 subscribers here, guys. We cannot let this continue. Please, folks, if you're subscribed to this channel or you think you're subscribed, please check your subscriptions. Check your subscriptions, make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please resubscribe immediately. 25% of the people that watch this program are not even subscribed. Imagine how that would be if everybody subscribed. We would go over the top. Now, when you subscribe or resubscribe, there's a little bell icon right next to the subscription button. Click on that. A drop-down menu of 3 items will come up. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we come on the air. We come on the air usually Monday through Friday between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Soon in November it'll be Eastern Standard Time. But we come on the air then. Now, the good thing about that, if anything else happens during the night or the morning hours, we will come on the air to talk about it as soon as the information becomes available. We always do that. On Sundays, we come on the air at 12 or sometime around 12 noon to talk about Jesus Christ. We have a Sunday school class that we call Come Follow Me at 12 noon on Sundays Eastern Time. We'd appreciate your service there. Be with us there to worship Christ. We'd greatly appreciate that very much. But we cannot allow YouTube to continue unsubscribing people. This is unheard of. Completely unheard of. Now we're down, and I just checked it just a minute ago, we are down to, oh gosh, what was it here? We are down to 5,659 subscribers. We were up to 5,679 subscribers just a week or so ago. They're dropping us like flies. They're dropping us like flies. This is unheard of. I don't know why they're doing it, but we have to stop them. If you like this program, please subscribe to this program. Please tell your friends and neighbors about this program as well. If you like this program, stick around through the entire program. Don't just stick around for 10 or 15 minutes because you'll not get everything we're talking about. You just won't. We talk about emergency preparedness as well. If you tap out of this program before we're finished, you're not going to see what we have to say. And as a result, you put your family members at risk. Because we talk about preparedness all the time. We talk about storms. We talk about fires. We talk about floods. We talk about shootings. Literally all the time. We talk about this all the time. I want to make sure that most of the people can find this channel and understand what we're talking about. So please, folks, subscribe to this channel and do it as soon as possible. We can't let YouTube keep unsubscribing people from this channel. I appreciate Sweet Polly Purebred being here, George Rashad from the state of California. I appreciate Demon Catman from the east of England being here. Dennis is here, thank you very much. Renee Steffi from the great state of North Carolina is here. Juanito from the California, from Imperial Valley over in El Centro, California. Don Potoka from the great state of Utah is here. One of our mods here. We all appreciate all of our mods. I want you to know that. You guys are awesome. Okay? Now, I just mentioned a handful of people here. We appreciate every one of you that come here and join us here on the program. Like I said, please subscribe. Also, when you come here, please, if you enjoy it, give us a thumbs up. The amount of time you spend on this channel, the number of thumbs up that are here, and the number of people that watch this program, that all goes into an analytical factor, whereby YouTube decides whether they're going to let other people here on YouTube see this program. We'd appreciate all of you helping us up the numbers and helping us keep people subscribed here, and also finding out about our channel. Please share this channel widely. Please share it with your family, your friends, your family and extended family, your neighbors, the people you associate with on social media. Please also share it with the people you work with. There is nothing to be embarrassed about this program, nothing that we say that we're going to try to embarrass you. I don't do that. We need to come out to a head here because we're coming up to an election. If we don't save our country, we're screwed. If we don't save our country, we're screwed. This could be the final election if we don't prevail here. We cannot let the Democrat, Socialist, Democrat, Communist Party win. If they do, this country's over with. Okay? I want to make that clear as well. Don Patoka says, due to the YouTube's love for the truth here on this channel, please do not use all caps. That's the other thing, guys. YouTube does not like all caps. They consider that yelling. And they have come here with their YouTube moderators, and they unsubscribe people right and left. They take people off this channel. Don't be one of the people that they take off. You've seen them here before, they'll be back. We can't let that happen. So please don't use all caps. Yes, at the beginning of sentences, you can use a capital letter. But do not use all caps. We'd appreciate that very much. Now, I'm briefly going to show you earthquakes around the world. There isn't a lot to show you. There really isn't a lot to show you. The earthquakes that we've had are specific though. Okay? I'm going to start off tonight showing you what is going on in the Pacific Northwest. That's where we're going to start, just as soon as this map lets me do it. Gosh, I hate this map. I really hate this map. Let's start over here in the Pacific Northwest off the coast of Oregon. This earthquake was off Dupage Bay, Oregon. This was just a minor earthquake. However, as you see it, it's just east of the Cascadia subduction zone, right next to the big earthquake fault. Sometimes this happens. Most of the time it's right barely just off the coast. This is approximately 59 kilometers from Dupage, Oregon. Again, it's right next to the Cascadia subduction zone. We're continuing to see earthquakes here in the Cascadia subduction zone region. That is because sometime within the next 5 years, I believe, we're going to have a major earthquake here. The major earthquake is going to start off here, up here in the Pacific Northwest, off the coast of Seattle, Tacoma, Washington. Over here, either on the Cascadia subduction zone or between the Cascadia subduction zone and the Juan de Fuca fault. The Juan de Fuca fault. That is that zigzag fault you see there on your screen there. The Juan de Fuca fault. This is where it happened 325 years ago. It's going to happen again. Okay? Sometime in the next 5 years. Some scientists say it could be 50 years. Some scientists are saying 25 years. But they are not showing us all the data. They don't want to admit what is exactly going on. Heaven forbid. We showed you the data with the volcanoes, and we've shown you data during the past months and years showing you what is going on land as well as off the coast. Okay? There are earthquakes, whether USGS wants to admit it or not. Another earthquake that happened right over here off the coast of Queen Charlotte Island today. There was a 2.2 minor earthquake here. They're now calling this Haida Gwaii. Haida Gwaii. This was a 2.2 minor earthquake. No big deal. But we have seismic activity coming out of Alaska. That is why this 2.2 hit here, over here on Haida Gwaii or the Queen Charlotte Island. Okay? We've had numerous earthquakes in Alaska today. Look at this. Numerous earthquakes in Alaska. They originated down here in the Gulf of Alaska area. This earthquake here is a 3.4 earthquake. A small 3.4 earthquake. Small is 3.0, 3.9 in magnitude. This was a small 3.4 off the coast of Perryville, Alaska. This is on the Aleutian Island fault zone. Notice the other earthquakes ranging in size from 2.0 all the way down to 1.1, going up into central Alaska. Okay? We've had earthquakes down here in the western portion of the Aleutian Island fault zone as well. This earthquake is a 3.8 here. 49 kilometers south-southeast of Atka, Alaska. Atka, Alaska. It's nowhere really near any islands where you could say it's a preliminary earthquake pending a possible volcanic eruption. That's not happening. This is on the Aleutian Island fault zone. Yes, there are other minor tremors here as well and microquakes. But so far we don't have any eruption either planned or advised here in the Aleutian Islands. Okay? The other earthquakes we have to talk about here. Okay? This is northeast of Mino, Japan. Or Mino, Japan, however you want to talk about it. This is just south of Honshu, Japan. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake. Moderate are 4.0, 4.9. USGS and some of the other agencies call them light earthquakes. There's nothing light about these 4.0, 4.9 earthquakes. 4.0, 4.9 earthquakes can cause damage. If it was a light earthquake, it might have been called small. But they haven't done that. They revised how they identify these earthquakes because they don't want to admit what is going on. They want everybody to believe that nothing's happening. Yet that's exactly what is going on. This was a 4.4 earthquake on Japan. Now, I don't believe it was strong enough to cause any major or even much more than minor damage, like pictures falling off the walls or knickknacks of books falling over off the bookshelves. That's what happens when we have a 4.4 earthquake. Nothing more, nothing less. We go further south. Okay? I'm taking you now over to Manguil, Philippines. Manguil, Philippines, just south of Mindanao, Philippines. Mindanao, Philippines is the biggest island in the Philippines here. Okay? This is a 4.6 moderate earthquake here. This is 149 kilometers deep. This is a fairly shallow earthquake. Also just south of there, just south of Mindanao, Philippines here, is another 4.4 earthquake. This is 217 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. Okay? Now I'm going to back out here. I want to show you what USGS is not showing us. They're not showing us hardly anything going on here in Indonesia. Nothing. That's a fallacy. There are about 12 earthquakes here in Indonesia they're not telling us about. Heaven forbid they talk about it. Over here in the Indian Ocean, in the mid-Indian Ocean, this is a 4.7 moderate earthquake. The Indian Ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. This quake didn't do anything. There's no way. There were no islands anywhere near it, out in the middle of the water. Okay? Nothing happened there as well. Now, I want to show you this. Over here on the western shores of Australia. Okay? Western shores of Australia. Right here. Today there was a 2.7 earthquake. Just barely south of that, maybe 50 miles south of that, there was another 2.4. And about 50 miles south of that, there was a 2.2. USGS is not talking about it. Heaven forbid. The United States Geological Survey is not showing anything. Now, the USBS claims to be the preeminent seismic agency of the world. I challenge that. Why am I challenging that? Because the USGS hardly reports anything. USGS claims there's 209 earthquakes worldwide. How would they know? How would they know when they don't even report earthquakes? Now, I just pulled up the seismic data from the EMSC. I'm going to take down this map, or well, actually I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to show you my webcam here, and I am going to show you that the EMSC has taken down 2 out of the 3 earthquakes here in Western Australia. They've left this one up over on land over in Australia. That is a 2.7 earthquake that happened today. Like I said, there were 2 others south of there that they've taken down. But again, the United States Geological Survey is not showing anything there. That was a 2.7 south of Yelbeni, Western Australia. Heaven forbid they be honest with us. They've actually never been honest with us. That's the problem here. They have never, ever been honest with us at all, ever. I've been doing this channel now for over 5.5 years. Never once have they been completely honest. At all. At all. Let's go over here west. This is Vanuatu. This is a large 5.0 earthquake. Okay? East-southeast of Solo, Vanuatu. For the most part, nobody felt this earthquake. This is out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Nobody felt this earthquake. The ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. Yes, there are islands in the vicinity, but this earthquake is 46 kilometers east-southeast of Solo, Vanuatu. The waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. Further south here, this is a 4.8 earthquake. Again, a moderate earthquake. Slightly stronger than the one I just showed you. This is a 4.8 earthquake 77 kilometers northwest of Islay, Vanuatu. Again, the ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake and nobody felt it. 4.8 moderate quake. Just south and east of there. This is another 4.3. This also is 48 kilometers north of Islay, Vanuatu. Nobody felt this earthquake as well. These are moderate earthquakes here in the region of Vanuatu, or the Vanuatu region. We go further east, over here to Fiji region. This is a large 5.4 earthquake. Again, this happened out in the ocean waters of the Pacific. Nobody felt this quake. Yes, this could have been a very dangerous quake. 5.4 earthquakes are large quakes. USBS has been saying these are moderate quakes. They're not. There's nothing moderate about a 5.4, 5.9, 5.0 earthquake. They cause massive damage. But again, this is out in the ocean waters of the Fiji region. Nobody felt this quake. The water absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. Further south of the Fiji Islands, this is a 4.8 earthquake. This is 580 kilometers deep. 580 kilometers deep. This earthquake is going to propagate a much larger quake. Deep earthquakes propagate larger and shallower earthquakes. In this case, this earthquake is going to be responsible for propagating at least a 5.7, 5.8 earthquake. A larger 5.7, 5.8 earthquake. Now, where will it happen? It could happen here in Vanuatu area or Fiji. It could happen over in Tonga. It could go south and happen in the Kyric Islands. I personally believe it will go north. Probably here in the Fiji region. That could go west over into Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands. That's where I believe it's going to go. Yes, it can go also over here to Tonga. They are not showing the earthquakes that happen here in Tonga today, unfortunately. Heidi Peck just gifted 5 Emergency Management Associates memberships. Thank you so much for that, Heidi. We appreciate that. God bless you for that. Kimball Sibley got a 30-day membership. Miss Constitutional Rights got a 30-day membership. Miss Parker got a 30-day membership. Heidi Knight got a 30-day membership, and so did R. Farrell. We appreciate that so much. Guys, if you appreciated your membership, please tell Heidi thank you. Heidi's been a loyal member of our EMA family, and she's a dear friend. We appreciate her very much. Thank you again, Heidi. God bless you for that. Anyway, I want to show you what's actually happening. Okay? Again, USGS is not going to show you this. Let me turn on our camera again. Because yes, we've had some earthquakes that we need to talk about. Over here in northern Fiji, Tonga region, this is a 5.4 earthquake. A large 5.4 earthquake here in the Tonga, Fiji region here. There was also 5.3 over here near Niafu, Tonga earlier. They've taken that down as well. Heaven forbid we talk about exactly what's going on. They don't want anybody to know. It's sad. It's very sad. I try to be honest and show you everything that's going on. And the USGS, the preeminent seismic agency of the world, takes it down. It's insane. It's insane. Let's go down here in the Kyric Islands area. Yesterday we had earthquakes here. We have more earthquakes here today. This is a 5.6 earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. A large 5.6 earthquake here in the Kyric Island region. The Kyric Islands, folks, are unoccupied islands. Unoccupied islands. They're very dangerous islands to be on, number one. The surrounding area of the ocean is also dangerous because these islands all were formed by volcanic action. During low tides, the rocks of the volcano are sticking up out of the water. And if they're not sticking up, they will damage the boat that tries to get in there. As a result, the only way scientists can come in and even observe the birds on the island or check and make sure the birds are all right is to go onto the island when the island is at high tide. This was a large 5.6 earthquake. Very large 5.6 earthquake. Right next to it's another 5.0. This is 40 kilometers deep. 40 kilometers deep. Now, I'm sorry I didn't show you this when I was showing this earthquake in Fiji. This is a 5.4 earthquake. Just like this 4.8 south of there. This 5.4 earthquake is a very deep earthquake. 610 kilometers deep. This earthquake will propagate a stronger, more shallow quake. This is a 5.4. This earthquake will propagate a 6.5 earthquake. This 5.4 earthquake in Fiji is going to propagate a 6.5 earthquake. Very dangerous, very strong 6.5 earthquake. Unreal. It's unreal. Let's go back down here to the Kyric Islands for a few minutes. This is another large 5.1 earthquake over here in the Kyric. This is 10 kilometers deep here. Right next to it is another 4.8 earthquake. This is also 10 kilometers deep. Unreal. Unreal. Richard Smith is saying that it's a 1.7 earthquake in the Strait of Gibraltar. 8 kilometers deep. Not surprising. That happens all the time. Literally all the time. We drop down here to New Zealand. Again, they're not showing any earthquakes at all. Guess what? They're full of beans. They're full of beans. Look at the earthquakes in New Zealand today. 2 down in Southland Park, New Zealand on the South Island, south part of the island. And we have more earthquakes on the North Island here. Again, United States Geological Survey is not showing anything. Squat. They never will. They never will do that. Now, while most of these earthquakes are not any big deal, most of them are 2.5, 2.7, 3.1, and 3.4 small earthquakes. Minor and small earthquakes. Okay? Just east of the volcano. Just east of Topo Lake, Topo Volcano. Topo Volcano is a super volcano over there in New Zealand. This is a 2.32 earthquake. A 2.32 earthquake just south and east of the supervolcano. We're keeping a close eye on that. Okay? Now, south of the other volcano, there's another volcano to the south called Ruapehu Volcano. 2 earthquakes just south of that volcano. This is a 2.31 earthquake here. 2.31 just south of Ruapehu. This is a 2.27 also south of Ruapehu. Okay? Now, for kicks and giggles, I'm going to go up here to the Bay of Plenty here. You see 3 earthquakes up here in the Bay of Plenty. Often we call the Bay of Plenty the catcher's mitt, because that's exactly what it looks like as a baseball catcher's mitt. 3 earthquakes there. This is a 2.54. 2.54 minor earthquake there. Just barely north of that is a 2.69. 2.69. And to the northeast of there, also on the fault line coming out of Fiji, going into the North Island of New Zealand. This is a 2.92. A 2.92. There are 2 fault lines, one coming out of Fiji going through the North Island of New Zealand. The other fault line you can see here coming out of Tonga. Okay? It goes through here, through the Kyric Islands, goes down here, and it goes on the east side of the North Island. Then it cuts across to the south and goes through the South Island of New Zealand. That is why we have 2 earthquakes down here in South Park, New Zealand today. or Southland Park, New Zealand today. These are minor earthquakes. Nothing more than minor earthquakes. But, again, the USBS is not showing anything. Not a thing. Okay? Now, I've got some other fish to fry here. Let me take down my mug here so you don't have to watch me necessarily. Richard Smith is also saying there's a 2.2 over there in Hawaii. Yes, there is. The 2.2 is over in Valhalla, Hawaii. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Over here in South America, USBS is showing us 2 earthquakes. What a fart. What a fart that is. I can't believe they're showing only 2 earthquakes. This is a 4.2 over here in Tarapacá, Chile. Okay? Mod 4.2. No big deal. Moderate earthquake. To the north over here in Ecuador. This is a 3.6 small earthquake here. Now I'm zooming in here. Why am I doing that? Because just east of there we have 2 volcanoes. 2 volcanoes right here. Guess what? Reventador and Sangay volcanoes right there. Reventador and Sangay volcano right there. There's other volcanoes also, but those volcanoes don't erupt very often. But Sangay and Reventador are erupting now. Reventador, I believe, erupted up to 21,000 feet. Sangay volcano erupted up to 17,000 feet today. Good sized eruptions in Ecuador. But again, USGS is still not telling us the truth. Look at all the earthquakes in South America today. Yes, most of those earthquakes are in the northern region of Tarapacá, Chile, and a lot of these earthquakes are also up in Colombia. You see a lot of earthquakes over in Central America as well. No doubt. No doubt. There's a lot of them. There's earthquakes over in South Mexico as well. Those earthquakes are going into northern Mexico and up into southern California. Now, there's some other things we need to talk about. Let's go over to Cuba. Okay? We have a great big huge earthquake fault coming out of Guatemala. Let me take down my mug so you can see what I'm talking about. We have a huge earthquake fault coming out of Guatemala. That fault goes over here through the Caribbean. Then it takes a north turn, almost straight north. It gets over here on this earthquake, continue on the earthquake fault going east. It goes south of the islands here. It goes south of these islands. Okay? Now, I'm having a brain fart here, excuse me, but I forgot what the name of this fault is. But it's coming out of Guatemala. It goes north over here, south of the islands that the fault is named after. Then comes over here to Cuba. It skirts Cuba. Today, right here, we had a 5.0 earthquake near Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. USGS downgraded to 4.6. This was a 5.0 earthquake. USGS should never have downgraded it. If I could slap USGS's hands, I would. This is a large earthquake just south of Cuba here. It's right on top of the earthquake fault. Right on top of the earthquake fault. I believe it was close enough to Cuba, 31 kilometers south-southwest of Guantanamo Bay. I believe it was close enough to Cuba that the Cuban people felt part of this quake. They may not have felt a 5.0, but they did feel some shaking here in Cuba today. Okay? Now, I've been doing this for a very long time. This is the first time that I've ever seen an earthquake here. Don Patoga says El Zapo. No, I'm sorry, Don. It's not called El Zapo. Let me check something here. I will tell you what it is. This is part of the the Caribbean tectonic plate, okay? It's part of the Cuban tectonic plate, the Caribbean tectonic plate, okay? That's one of the reasons we have so many earthquakes here, okay? Now, well, this is stupid. I can't believe I've been doing this for a very long time, and occasionally I have brain farts. But this I thought was important enough, and I want to talk about it. But oh, this is crazy. I even brought up some pictures. Pictures don't tell me either. Some people call it the Orient fault, O-R-I-E-N-T fault, but it's not that either. Okay? It's not the Orient fault. The Cayman Island Trench, I'm sorry. Yes, it is the Cayman Island Trench. Okay? Heidi Pedrick says, it will come to you, I get vapor locks too, yes. It's called the Cayman Ridge. The Cayman Ridge. Okay? Now, this fault brings earthquakes out of Central America over here. We have earthquakes over here in Haiti today. We have earthquakes over here in Haiti as well. Now they're not showing them here. That's so sad. Again, refer to the U.S. or to the EMSC map. This is Fond Palmes in Haiti. This is a 3.2 earthquake over here in Haiti today. This earthquake was dropped by the Cayman Ridge as well. Okay? Now, usually we can have earthquakes just north of the Dominican Republic as well. Today, there's no earthquakes anywhere near the Dominican Republic. However, over in southwestern Puerto Rico, this is a difference. This is a huge difference. Isn't this interesting? The EMSC doesn't show this earthquake over here in the eastern part of the Dominican Republic. This is a 3.0 earthquake. This is a 3.0 earthquake just off the coast of the Dominican Republic. This is in what they call the Mona Strait. M-O-N-A Strait. Mona Strait here. Okay? Occasionally we do get earthquakes there. We go over here to southwest Puerto Rico. All of these earthquakes here are a result of two major earthquakes that happened in 2019. December 26, 2019, we had an 8.0 major earthquake. An 8.0 major earthquake. Both of the earthquakes I'm going to talk about were caused by an agency out of the United States. An agency out of the United States. Right here. Please do not put this name in chat. The last time we had this put up in chat many years ago, YouTube took my program off. Please don't put this in chat. But this organization in Norway, one in Russia, and one over in northwestern Australia lit up. These agencies, facilities, triangulated Puerto Rico, causing an 8.0 earthquake to happen on December 26th, and a much larger earthquake on December 28th, an 8.4. Two earthquakes, an 8.0 and 8.4, December 26th and 28th, 2019. Now 5 years ago, or nearly 5 years ago. Today we have 4 earthquakes in this region. These are aftershocks of those two major earthquakes 5 years ago. This is a 2.8 south of Taloboa, Puerto Rico. This earthquake on land is over near Guanilla, Puerto Rico. This is a 2.1 earthquake. Right next to it is a 2.0 here. These are shallow earthquakes. This is 13 kilometers. This one here is 15 kilometers deep. This one here is 6.3 kilometers deep. Shallow earthquakes. This one here is a 2.5. This is southeast of Parguera, Puerto Rico. This is 12 kilometers deep. Again, these 4 earthquakes are aftershocks of two major earthquakes, an 8.0 and an 8.4 from December 26th and December 28th, 2019. Earth is still shaking over here. The Earth is going to continue to shake here. We're going to see aftershocks for probably 10 or more years as a result of those major earthquakes back here in 2019. Now there is another earthquake north of there. This is near Adjuntas, Puerto Rico. I don't believe this earthquake here had anything to do with the two major earthquakes of 2019. But this is a 2.0 minor earthquake here. Okay? Now, I'm going to back out here. I'm going to go east here. Off the east coast of Puerto Rico here. This is a 2.9, 3.0. This is 14 kilometers southeast of Esperanza, Puerto Rico. Esperanza is a smaller island. It's a tourist trap just off the coast of Puerto Rico here. Mostly only sailboats go there. Mostly only sailboats go there. It's a reprieve for some sailboat people to be able to go ashore for a little while to get off the water. Just south of there here is another quake. This is a 3.2 small earthquake here. To the north, this is a moderate 4.8 earthquake here. 27 kilometers deep. This is 33 kilometers north of Charlotte, Amale, U.S. Virgin Islands. It's out here in the Caribbean. Actually, you might call this the Southern Atlantic here, or the Mid-Atlantic here, over here in the U.S. Virgin Islands area. Okay? A 2.8 earthquake here. Now, I'm going to back out here. Okay? I first want to go down here into the South Atlantic Ocean. This is a large 5.0 earthquake in the South Sandwich Islands. Okay? You see earthquakes here all the time. Now this earthquake is on the Antarctic Ridge. On the Antarctic Ridge down here in the South Sandwich Islands. This earthquake is going to make its way over here to the Mid-Atlantic Fault here. Will make its way over here to the Mid-Atlantic Fault. When that happens, this earthquake will migrate up the entire Mid-Atlantic Ocean. Will migrate all the way up here to the Mid-Atlantic Ocean here. Now, we told you about a large earthquake over in the North Atlantic. We talked about that last night. They've taken it down. They've now taken it down. There was a large 5.0 earthquake here in the Mid-Atlantic. It was located right here. Right here. They've now taken it down. However, it doesn't mean it's gone away. The energy's moving north, and it's probably going to be moving north up here to Iceland. To Iceland. Now, why am I talking about it? Because the other earthquake down in the South Sandwich Islands is going to do much the same. It's going to migrate up the Mid-Atlantic. Today, and again, this is something the USGS is not showing us, but I'm going to show you right now. Over here on the Mid-Atlantic, and USBS and the other agencies are calling this a 3.4 on the Mid-Atlantic Fault. However, the other agencies are referring it to the Azor Islands. The Azor Islands. But you can see it's on the Mid-Atlantic Fault. Yes, we have islands over here east of the Mid-Atlantic Fault. Like right here. Right there. These islands are part of the Azor Islands. But that earthquake far to the west has nothing to do with the Azor Islands. It's on the Mid-Atlantic Fault. Okay? Now there are earthquakes over on the Azor Islands area. Before I go there, I want to go over to the Canary Islands. Mas Palomas, Canary Islands. We have a 3.0 earthquake there. Again, USGS is not showing it at all. A small 3.0 earthquake over here in the Canary Islands today. Okay? They're not showing it. Why not? Inquiring minds want to know. Morocco, just south of the Strait of Gibraltar. This is a 3.0 earthquake over here in Morocco. To the north, Spain. A 1.7 earthquake over here in Spain. It's a tremor. 1.7 tremor. Over here to the east, also in Spain, over in southern Spain, we have another 1.7 tremor here. Okay? They're not showing the 2.2 earthquake that Richard Smith told us happened. Now, I'm going over to Iceland. Okay? Over in southern Iceland, this is not over in the Reykjanes Peninsula. It's north of there, over here in southern Iceland. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. A 2.1 earthquake right here. Now, the Reykjanes Peninsula is right over here. So this earthquake has nothing to do with the Reykjanes Peninsula. It's not anything foretelling that there may be a volcano eruption there. I don't believe there is or will be a volcanic eruption there. Yes, it is possible, but I doubt it. Now, over here, just offshore from northern Iceland here, this is a 2.0 earthquake here. It's on the Mid-Atlantic Fault. That earthquake is right on the Mid-Atlantic Fault. The mid-Atlantic fault cuts through Iceland like that. At some point in time, Iceland will have been split. As we know, the mid-Atlantic fault is expanding. And at some point in time, the mid-Atlantic fault will split Iceland in half. We don't know when, but it will split Iceland in half. Now, I want to go over to Britain. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. I just love showing you guys this, okay? If I can control my pen. Right here, between Britain and France, over here in the English Channel, we had a 2.7 earthquake right here earlier today. The EMSC has taken it down. It was right between Britain and France. It was right over here between Britain and France. Okay? I believe it was in the English Channel. They've taken it down. Now, I want to go over to Norway here. This is Vestland, Norway. This is a 1.6 earthquake here. 1.6 tremor. Let's go over into southern... Actually, this is also in the Oslo region, Norway. I thought this was in Sweden now. This is in Oslo, Norway area, a 1.2 tremor over there in that area here. It's right on the backbone of Norway, in the mountains area. We go north into Sweden. Now this is in Dalarna, Sweden. This is a 1.2 in Dalarna, Sweden. Dalarna, Sweden, for those of you that know Swedish horses. Now, I'm not talking about real horses. I'm talking about wooden horses. Dalarna, Sweden is famous for wooden horses. Anywhere from horses that are 2 inches high all the way up to 2 or 3 feet high. They make wooden horses and they paint them. Very colorful horses. Dalarna Hästar, they call them. Happens there. Now there was one earthquake just south there, just south of Dalarna. It was in the county called Örebro. Örebro, Sweden is where my relatives come from. I was able to go over and stand on a homestead piece of concrete foundation from one of my relatives that had a house over in Örebro, Sweden. We are having earthquakes in Sweden and Norway. It didn't used to happen. It is now. Now yesterday over here in Finland, we had about 6 earthquakes in Finland. Yesterday we had 6 earthquakes here in Finland. We have 2 here today. We had earthquakes up here in northern Finland here as well, and southern Finland down here. Okay? Today here in southern Finland, we had a 1.2 and another 1.2 tremor here. 2 1.2 tremors. Yesterday there was a 2.0 up in northern Finland. There was another 1.7 over near Helsinki, Finland. And there were 2 other earthquakes. I don't remember the magnitude of those earthquakes. Over in Scandinavia, we never had earthquakes here before. Now we are. A lot of earthquakes. Now, over in France and Germany. France and Germany are also having earthquakes here. This is Switzerland here. This is the 1.9. We had 3 earthquakes in France earlier today and they took them down. But this is a 1.9 in Switzerland today. Now we go over here to the northwestern Alps of Italy here. Okay, the Italian Alps. This is a 2.1 earthquake here in the Italian Alps here. 2.1 earthquake here. We go further to the northeast here. This is also in the northeastern Alps of Italy. This is a 1.1 tremor here. Central Italy. Central Italy, we're still having swarms of earthquakes here. There's 10 earthquakes here. 10 earthquakes, ranging in size from 1.1 to 0.2 microquake, 1.5 tremor, 0.9 microquake, 1.2, 0.5 microquake, 0.9, and here is a 1.0 tremor here. Central Italy. Last time we had swarms here about a year ago, we had a 5.0 earthquake as a result. Swarms indicate larger earthquakes are incoming. Okay, the Italian, southern Italy, or central Italy there. We go south to Campania, Italy. 1.8 tremor here. 1.8, and then we go further east to Apula, Italy. This is a 1.0 tremor here. We go south. Basilicata, Italy. I don't know whether there's a Catholic basilica there, but this is Basilicata, Italy. This is a 1.4 tremor here. We go further south into the heel of the boot here. This is a 1.1 tremor here. We continue to go to the toe of Italy. Calabria, Italy. This is a 1.2 tremor here. We go over to Sicily. This is a 1.5 tremor here. Okay? Yes, we are having earthquakes there. To the northwest of Sicily, we have 3 earthquakes out here in the western Mediterranean. 2.42, right next to 2 other earthquakes, 2.3, another 2.4. 2.3, 2.4, and 2.42 just north of Sicily here in the western Mediterranean. Now, I want to go over to Greece. Look at Greece. Okay? I'm going over to Greece here. USGS is not showing any earthquakes in Greece. Well, guess what? Look at the earthquakes in Greece. 15 earthquakes in Greece today. 15 earthquakes in Greece. Yes, most of these are just minor tremors and earthquakes. 1.3, 2.2, 2.2 minor earthquake there, northwestern Greece. We go over to Patras. Patras was named after the Apostle Peter. 1.1 tremors over here near the Aegean Sea here. 1.1, 2.3 here. 1.1, 2.3 here. Usually these earthquakes around the Aegean Sea are just tremors. 1.1, 1.0, 0.9, 1.8. But we did have that 2.3 over near Patras, Greece. Now, southwestern Greece, 1.6. Off the coast, a 4.3 here. 4.3 moderate quake. North there, Argostoli, Greece. This is a 2.5. Okay? Further south of Athens. This is a 2.7 earthquake here. South of Athens, Greece. Okay? North of Crete, we have a 2.0 and a 2.6. 2.0 and a 2.6 just north of Crete, out in the ocean waters here of the Mediterranean. Not a big deal. Now, for the first time in forever, we don't have a bunch of earthquakes over here on the western side of Turkey here. We have very few earthquakes over here in Turkey at all. All of these are 2.2, 2.8, and 2.9 earthquakes here. However, over here in eastern Turkey here, remember yesterday we had a 6.0 earthquake here? Well, guess what? We have 60 earthquakes here in eastern Turkey. This is the same area where February 3rd last year, we had a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake here in the Turkey-Syria border region. Now it's happened again with a very strong 6.0 earthquake yesterday. And now we still have aftershocks. The aftershocks range from 4.0 all the way up to, or all the way down to 1.0s. Okay? This is a 2.0 earthquake right here. Just for instance, 2.0 earthquake. Here's a 1.6 over there to the south. These people must have been shocked to have that huge earthquake hit yesterday. They must have been shocked to see this 6.0 earthquake here yesterday. Okay? The last time it happened, these poor people here were nailed. Over 5,000 people died in that 9.0, 10.0 earthquake a year and a half ago. 5,000 plus people also injured, both in eastern Turkey and in Syria. Today, USGS only shows a 4.4 here. What a joke. What a joke. Again, USGS cannot be counted on for nothing. For nothing. And yes, that was a double negative, but they can't be counted on for anything, period. Over here in Afghanistan, we have a 4.2 earthquake here. There are also other earthquakes over here in China here. But again, USGS is not going to show those. Very rarely do they ever. Do we have any earthquakes about anything I've shown you at all? Do we have any questions at all about any earthquakes worldwide that we've shown you? Tim Gibson says, big one coming, yes. I believe we're going to have a big earthquake, a very shocking earthquake. Don says, are you truly prepared? I hope you are. If you guys live in any area that we talked about, get ready. Get ready. There's going to be a bigger earthquake coming. Okay? Now, I want to do something else here. Sorry about that. I want to go over here to the New Madrid Fault. For the most part, I want to spend the rest of the time with you over here on the New Madrid Fault. We have about 45 minutes I want to spend here. Now here the USBS says we have a 2.5 earthquake here. A minor 2.5. Doniphan, Missouri. Doniphan, Missouri. This is a central part of the New Madrid Fault. Doniphan, Missouri, a 2.5 earthquake here. Well, guess what? I'm sorry to say USBS has it wrong again. There are a lot more earthquakes than a 2.5 here. And we're going to talk about them. I want to make sure everybody realizes exactly what is happening here. Okay? You need to know what's going on, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, let's get off the USBS map. Now, I'm going to show you earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. I'm going to show you earthquakes on the East Coast as well. Now, what is going on? Again, the Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is going like this. It's pushing Europe in an easterly direction. It's pushing the North American plate. Canada, Greenland, the United States and Mexico in a south-southwesterly direction. That is why we're getting earthquakes over on the East Coast. We're also getting earthquakes over here on the New Madrid Fault for two reasons. Number one, the East Coast is getting pushed by the Mid-Atlantic Fault. That is putting pressure on the New Madrid Fault from the East Coast. From the west, the New Madrid Fault is being pushed from the west because we have seismic energy coming from California through Texas, through Arkansas, through all the other areas, all the way over to the Mid-Atlantic, or to the New Madrid Fault. A lot of energy there. A ton of energy. And today we're going to talk about some of that. I want everybody to be prepared for what you're going to see. We haven't talked about the New Madrid Fault in a while. The reason is nothing's really changed. Yes, we're still getting hit with earthquakes. That almost goes without saying. But folks, it's happening. It's going to continue to happen. It's going to continue happening until we get a major earthquake. And I believe that major earthquake on the New Madrid Fault is going to happen within the next 2 years. Why do I say that? Because I've been talking about the New Madrid Fault for about 3 years now. You guys urged me to talk about the Mid-Atlantic Fault, the New Madrid Fault. All of you folks encouraged me to talk about the New Madrid Fault, so I did. But 3 years ago, all we were seeing is microquakes and minor tremors. 0.4, 0.5, 0.9 microquakes, 1.0, 1.5, 1.7 tremors. Up and down the entire New Madrid Fault. That was 3 years ago. What I'm going to show you in a few minutes over here on the New Madrid Fault is amazing. In 3 years, we've seen major results happening on the New Madrid Fault. Major events. Some of these will blow your mind. Some of these will blow your mind. What's little left of my mind. Okay? Now, I'm first going to start off over in North Carolina. I didn't see any earthquakes in Pennsylvania today. I saw some actually, I'm going to start in Virginia tonight. There were earthquakes in Virginia. Okay? Let's talk about Hurt, Virginia. Today. This is this morning in Hurt, Virginia. Look at this. This happened after 10:15 this morning. This happened at 10:07, or I'm sorry, not 10:07, 10:22 a.m. this morning. First, it was a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. Then we had a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake after that. Hurt, Virginia. Look at the secondary quake going out to the right of that. This was at least a 3.0 earthquake here today. Virginia. Again, the Mid-Atlantic Fault is pushing on the East Coast. That's why that happened today. Let me show you something else. Let's talk about Corbin, Virginia. Look at this, guys. All kinds of tremors here in Corbin, Virginia. Again, the mid-Atlantic fault is pushing on the East Coast, pushing on the North American plate. Let's show you Corbin, Virginia this afternoon. Look at this, guys. Corbin, Virginia this afternoon started off with a bunch of tremors. Then, about 12, I want to say 6%, 48, 49, 50. 12:50 p.m. today. The tremors went from tremors to 2.0, 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes. 12:49 p.m. today. Then, after 1:30 p.m. today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At approximately 1:35, 1:36 p.m. today, tremors building up to 2.6, 2.8 earthquake. And more tremors. More tremors. Now I'm going to take you to a place called Accomack, Virginia. This is going to blow your mind. Look at the tremors here. Wall to wall, top to bottom, side to side. Yes, these are all tremors. But it literally happened all night and all day long. From midnight up at the top, which is 12 midnight, until 12 noon today right here. Then Accomack, Virginia this evening, or this afternoon. The same thing. In this case, these tremors turned into minor earthquakes here this afternoon, and you can look at the bottom line to prove it. 2.0, 2.1 earthquakes this afternoon. That's incredible. That's incredible. Again, the mid-Atlantic fault is pushing on the North American plate, pushing it in a south-southwesterly direction. Let's go down to North Carolina. Wait till you see what I have to show you here in North Carolina. First off, Roper, North Carolina. This is this morning. Nothing but tremors here. Nothing but tremors here. Okay? But Roper, North Carolina this afternoon. Let me show you what happened. Look at this. We went from tremors to minor earthquakes here. 1.4, 1.5, 1.7 tremors, all the way up to 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes, minor earthquakes here. That's nothing. Wait for the next slide I want to show you here. Let's go over to Rowland, North Carolina, R-O-W-L-A-N-D, North Carolina, this morning. Now we are having large earthquakes here in North Carolina. This is over on the northeast coast of North Carolina. Rowland, North Carolina. This started at 9 a.m. this morning. Started at 9 a.m. this morning and continued. Every one of these are at least 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. Notice the top and the bottom of these sequences have been cut off. These are at least 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here in North Carolina today. JJ says he's still subscribed and notifications on. That's great. Appreciate you being here, JJ. God bless you for that. Look at this. Small earthquakes hitting North Carolina today. And that's not all. Wait till I show you what else. More earthquakes this afternoon. So it is not an anomaly for these earthquakes only to be here this morning. Small earthquakes this afternoon as well. The first one happened at about 5 minutes after it happened about 1:20 p.m. It's on the red line. I see it was on the black line on the top there. It was on the red line, which is 1:20 p.m. That sequence lasted about 30 seconds. The next earthquakes happened after 4 o'clock this afternoon. 2 3.0, 3.2 earthquakes here this afternoon. Incredible, huh? It's not over. It's not over till the fat lady sings, and I don't see a fat lady here. Now, I'm going to take you to Taylorsville, North Carolina. Taylorsville is about 45 minutes north of where I live in Morganton. These are tremors here in Taylorsville. Now, all day long, Carol and I have been seeing things move here. Not majorly, but we've been seeing water shaking on our table in glasses. Water shaking in water bottles. Water shaking in the toilets. Yeah, in the toilets. Okay? We've been seeing tremors here in Morganton, North Carolina. You see tremors here in Taylorsville, north of us. Tremors here in Morganton as well. Unfortunately, we don't have a seismograph here to record what's going on here. But I'm telling you, the tremors are continuing here. Look at this. Even this afternoon. The top line here is 12 noon here. The red line below that is 12:15. The tremors are continuing even now. Okay? Incredible, huh? Let's move down to South Carolina. Okay? Let's move down to South Carolina. Movement is happening there. Okay? Let's go to Blacksburg, South Carolina. Kings Mountain, Blacksburg, South Carolina. Look at this. This is this afternoon. Nothing appreciable happened this morning, but this is this afternoon. We've had tremors and we've had minor earthquakes here. Tremors and minor earthquakes. At approximately 1:07 p.m., we had a 2.2 earthquake. Just after 12:05 p.m. this afternoon above, we had a 2.0. And you can see the other earthquakes here. For example, after 4 p.m. today, okay, at approximately 4:12 p.m., right before 12:13, I'm sorry, not 12, 4:13 p.m. this afternoon, 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. Blacksburg, South Carolina, Kings Mountain. It's a volcano. Blacksburg, South Carolina, there's the volcano. Fun games, huh? It's not over. Let's go over to Sumter, South Carolina. USGS has not even been covering this. The local newspapers and the print media, and the television stations have been reporting earthquakes over here in South Carolina. Sumter, South Carolina. Let's show you this. Look at this. These are earthquakes this morning. 3.0 earthquakes. 7 3.0 earthquakes today. This morning. Sumter, South Carolina. Is USGS reporting this? No. You're only going to see it on the seismographs. Because again, the agency doesn't want us to know this. The television stations are reporting it, but that's all they're doing. Sometimes you'll see it in the print media, on the alternative media, meaning on the internet. But you're not going to see it from the USBS. That was this morning. Look at Sumter this afternoon. 6 earthquakes this morning. Look at all these earthquakes today. This afternoon. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3.0 and larger earthquakes here this afternoon, as well as all kinds of tremors and minor earthquakes. Unreal. I want to welcome my buddy Surgery here. He called me on the telephone just a few minutes ago, but we were on the air. I don't like answering the telephone for anyone while I'm on the air unless it's an emergency. But look at this. South Carolina is going crazy. The mid-Atlantic fault is pushing the North American plate in a south-southwesterly direction. That's why we're getting all these earthquakes here. Now let's go over to mid-Atlantic fault. I started over on the East Coast for a reason. I wanted to show you what's going on. Now, I wanted to show you what's going on in Illinois and Indiana. Illinois is the northern part of the Mid-Atlantic Fault. So is Indiana. The only place I could see any seismic activity is in Illinois. Stronghurst, Illinois. Again, we had a 3.0 earthquake here this morning. Okay? About 9:10 this morning. 10 minutes after 9, we had a 3.0 earthquake. And notice after that earthquake what happened. The secondary wave lasted just over a minute. The secondary wave lasted just over a minute. A small 3.0 earthquake in Stronghurst, Illinois. Did anybody report this in the media? No. Not at all. I checked. When it came to Evansville, Indiana, we usually show you that. But the agencies have turned off the seismographs at Evansville, Indiana, Southern Indiana University. They've turned off the seismograph, or they're just not reporting it. They're not reporting anything out of Indiana at all. For whatever reason. Let's go down to Missouri. Barker Cemetery, Missouri. Look at this morning. Look at all these earthquakes here in Barker Cemetery, Missouri. When we first started reporting earthquakes here, all we had were microquakes and minor tremors. Even 2 years ago, we had some minor tremors and microquakes. And we were having even, I believe, 2.0 earthquakes 2 years ago. Now we are not just having tremors and minor earthquakes. We're having full-blown 3.0 earthquakes here. You see at least 2 of those earthquakes on this seismogram today. One of these earthquakes happened after 7 a.m. this morning. Okay? At approximately 7:20 or 7:11 a.m. this morning on the black line here. 7:11 a.m. this morning on this black line. A 3.0 earthquake. And after that, a 2.9 earthquake. There may have been one before that also at 6:21 a.m. this morning. Look at all these earthquakes here. Missouri, guys, is moving. This is the center of the New Madrid Fault. Let's look at Barker Cemetery this afternoon. The earthquakes continued, didn't they? I believe we may have had at least one to three earthquake, 3.0 small earthquakes here this afternoon, as well as minor earthquakes and tremors. Again, the seismicity, the strength of the quakes and the number of quakes has increased. And it continues to increase. It continues to increase. Now, I've never showed you this seismogram before. Canton, Missouri. Canton, C-A-T-R-O-N. Canton, Missouri. Canton, Missouri is over here on the southeastern side of Missouri. This is just barely north of the New Madrid Fault. This is on the north side of the New Madrid Fault, right next to it. I wanted to show you this because we've never seen seismic energy here. But today we did. Look what I'm going to show you here. We had tremors early this morning at midnight. We had more tremors after 12:30 this morning on the blue line. Then, 3:45 this morning, we had more tremors. And they continued after 4 a.m. this morning. We had more tremors after 6 a.m. Then things really kicked into gear 7 a.m., 8 a.m., all the rest of the morning. Look at these earthquakes. These are just more than minor quakes. These are small earthquakes. A dozen plus small earthquakes here today. Canton, Missouri. We've never seen this happen before. It did not continue this afternoon. Almost nothing happened this afternoon. But this morning, the place went crazy. Linda's asking what will happen in Louisville, Kentucky. Linda, right now, nothing much. I checked Louisville earlier today, and all we have were some tiny, tiny microquakes. Like 0.1, 0.2 microquakes, that's all. Now things will change. Things will change. Yes, we have had minor tremors and minor earthquakes in Louisville. That has happened. As this ramps up, as the seismic energy picks up here, we are going to see earthquakes in Kentucky. We'll see more earthquakes in Tennessee as well. Yes, I'm going to show you some earthquakes in Tennessee in just a minute. But here, in the center of the New Madrid Fault, this is unheard of. We've never seen this here before. Never. We've seen some earthquakes in New Madrid, Missouri before. We've seen them in Marston, Missouri. 2.5, 2.8, 3.0 earthquakes in Marston, Missouri. Let me show you Marston, Missouri today. This is Marston, Missouri this morning here. Nothing but tremors. Absolutely nothing but tremors here. Let's see. Let's go over to New Madrid, Missouri itself. Like I said, we've had some earthquakes reported here as before. All we're seeing here are very tiny tremors. Tiny tremors and microquakes here. It's as if nothing's going on. New Madrid, Missouri right here. Let's go and take a look at New Madrid, Missouri this afternoon. More tremors here this afternoon too. A lot of nada. A lot of nada. But this doesn't always happen this way. It doesn't always happen this way. Now, let's see what else we can dig up here. There's a lot going on. Let's go over to East Prairie, Missouri right now, this afternoon. Look at this. These are tremors and minor earthquakes. A lot of minor earthquakes. 12 minor earthquakes here as well as tremors here. 2.0 earthquakes here. East Prairie, Missouri. Yes, we've seen earthquakes in the morning and the afternoon here in East Prairie, Missouri before. But that is this afternoon here. Nothing appreciable earlier than that. Let's go over to Guam, Missouri. Look at this. Again, this is central New Madrid Fault. Most of this is nothing more than tremors and minor earthquakes. We don't have any 3.0 earthquakes here at all. But these are tremors and minor earthquakes here. 2.5, 2.7, maybe even 2.8 earthquakes, minor earthquakes. Okay. Let's look at Guam this afternoon. Guam, Missouri this afternoon. Again, we don't have any 3.0 activity. These are tremors and minor earthquakes here. Tremors and minor earthquakes here in Guam, Missouri. Now, I've never seen this before either. This is Kewanee, Missouri. K-E-W-A-N-E-E, Missouri. Kewanee, Missouri here. Look at this. Tremors and earthquakes here in Kewanee, Missouri. I've never covered this, never shown this town to you before. But again, the central part of the New Madrid Fault is moving. Okay. Kewanee, Missouri this afternoon. Here things changed. Yes, we've had some minor tremors here. But after 2:45 this afternoon over on the far left side, on the green line, things changed. At approximately 2:49 p.m. this afternoon, we had a 3.0 earthquake here. As far as I know, we've never seen this before. 3.0 earthquake. And after that, we had 2.8, 2.9, 2.5, 2.7, 2.3, 2.2, 2.0 earthquakes. And nothing more than tremors after that. So the earthquakes are appearing in places we've never seen them before. This is going to happen as the pneumatic fault kicks into gear. We're going to see earthquakes in strange places, places we've never seen them before. All right, let's continue this discussion here. I want to go over to Portersville, Missouri. Portersville, Missouri here. This is just a bit different. We are still seeing full-blown 3.0 earthquakes. And again, notice that they cut the tops and the bottoms off the sequences. They cut the tops and the bottoms off of the earthquake sequences. Heaven forbid we know the true story of what exactly happened. But these are at least 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here in Missouri. We've seen this happen before. Incredible, huh? It gets wilder. Portersville, Missouri this afternoon. The seismic energy died down. There's nothing more than 2.6, 2.7 earthquake here. And that happened after I want to say 1:21 this afternoon, and again after 2:30 or 2:15 this afternoon as well. Okay? Things calm down here a lot. But not for long. Not for long. St. John's Bayou, Missouri this afternoon. Tremors here. A lot of tremors. This morning we didn't see much, but this afternoon here in St. John's Bayou, tremors galore. Yes, we've actually seen earthquakes here before. So tremors being here, not a big deal. Now, I'm going to move over to Arkansas. Again, this is along the pneumatic fault on the northeastern side of Arkansas. Catfish Pond. Look at this. We saw some microquakes early this morning for about 4 or 5 hours. The microquakes turned into tremors. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after 6:06 a.m. this morning, 3.0 earthquakes. Again, just after 6:06 a.m. this morning, 3.0 plus earthquakes. 2 sequences adding up to about 30 seconds worth of quake shaking. At least 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. The tops and the bottom of these sequences have been cut off, which means they're hiding the data. You can see tremors here. A lot of tremors here at Catfish Pond. It continues. This afternoon, the same thing happened. Just after 12:30 this afternoon, this happened at 12:36 p.m. this afternoon. In this case, the 3.0 earthquakes continued for over a minute. Over 60 seconds. Prior to that, we had 2.0 earthquakes and tremors prior to that. The secondary wave also continued for about 30 seconds after the main shock went down. Secondary wave continued with 2.0 earthquakes. Most of the rest of the day continued with just tremors. Tremors. One minor earthquake just after 4:30 4:18 p.m. this afternoon. 2.0 minor earthquake at 4:18 this afternoon. It doesn't stop. Arkansas is going to shake here. I'm going to show you here. Now, I want to take you over to Dell, Arkansas. Dell, Arkansas this morning. It was quiet almost all morning. Then about 7 or 8 o'clock, the tremors started. 9 o'clock, the tremors really started going. 10 o'clock, the tremors continued. At about 10:30 this morning, 10:35 a.m. this morning, the tremors grew up. Minor earthquakes, and then a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. And that continued for about 45 seconds. Then, after 10:45 this morning, approximately 10:48 this morning, they kicked into gear again. This time, 3.0 earthquakes. 3.0 earthquakes happened for about 5 to 7 seconds. They happened again about 2 minutes later, 2.5 minutes later. They happened again after 11:02 a.m. this morning. It continued. The shaking continued. That was Dell, Arkansas this morning. Let's go over Little Rock. Little Rock, Little River. Little River is a suburb of Little Rock. Notice the tremors here. Tremors and minor earthquakes here in Little Rock, Little River, Arkansas today. Tremors and minor earthquakes all over here. They continue this afternoon. But in this case this afternoon, after 2:50 p.m. this afternoon, 3.0 earthquake here. Little Rock got hit with a 3.0 earthquake this afternoon. The shaking lasted about 5 or 6 seconds. And after that, it died down to a minor earthquake after that. Which is seen shaking here. Up until this past year, I've never seen shaking in Little Rock at all. At all. North of Little Rock, yes. Back in 2011, I was in Little Rock at the Arkansas Department of Emergency Management, ADEM, ADEM, in Little Rock. We conducted a disaster drill there. The morning the drill started at 7 a.m. in the morning. Guess what happened? Can you guys guess what happened? 3.0 and larger earthquakes happened. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes happened north of Little Rock along the New Madrid Fault and south of Oklahoma, south of Tulsa, Oklahoma. 3 small earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. Blew my mind. You want to blow my mind, that's the way to do it. But we did not see anything happen after that. For years, like I said, we haven't seen anything but microquakes and minor tremors. That's all. That is all we saw. Nothing more. Nothing more. Now, just a second, guys. I am trying to find a picture of me at Little Rock, Department of Emergency Management. I know I got them. I know I've got another picture here. Oh, let's see. That is me in Little Rock, Arkansas in 2011. I've also got another picture here in just a second I'll show you. This is also inside the Little Rock, Arkansas Department of Emergency Management where we held the disaster drill. Okay? Incredible. On the anniversary, the 200th anniversary of the earthquake happening on the Pneumatic Fault, I was there. And we had 2 or 3 small earthquakes there. Crazy. Crazy. Let's continue this discussion about the Pneumatic Fault here. Okay, let's go over to Mark Tree, Arkansas. Every day at Mark Tree, Arkansas, we have earthquakes. Every day, just like this. We've seen earthquakes like this at Bombay Beach over in California, in the Imperial Valley. We've seen earthquakes like this over at Mount Shasta, a volcano. But this is over in Missouri. Arkansas. Mark Tree, Arkansas, here. These kinds of earthquakes happen literally all day long. All day long here at Mark Tree, Missouri. Look at this. This is Mark Tree, not Missouri, Mark Tree, Arkansas, this afternoon. Look what we have here. This is at approximately 2:13 this afternoon. This was a 3.5 earthquake. A 3.5 earthquake happened here at Mark Tree, Arkansas this afternoon. This is the largest earthquake that I've seen here at Mark Tree, Arkansas before. This is the largest earthquake we've seen at Mark Tree, Arkansas before. Again, we're seeing larger and larger earthquakes, and we're seeing more and more earthquakes as well. It's insane. Now, I want to show you some tremors over at Needham, Arkansas. Needham, Arkansas is over in central Arkansas. Look at the tremors here. We're seeing tremors all the way over here, approximately 150 miles west of the Pneumatic Fault. Tremors here at Needham, Arkansas. Now, I want to take you over to Ozark Folk Center. Ozark Folk Center. Usually we have a lot of earthquakes to report here. But today, the only earthquakes happening at Ozark Folk Center, and again, this is in north central Arkansas, happened this afternoon. 12:45 this afternoon. 2.6 earthquake. 12:47, 2.9 earthquake. Then we had some tremors after that. Usually we see good-sized earthquakes at the Ozark Folk Center, north central Arkansas. Today there's only 2 earthquakes to speak of. All the rest of the activity at Ozark Folk Center was tremors and microquakes this morning. That's all. Now, let us go south of Mark Tree, Arkansas to Truman, Arkansas. Look at this. The same thing applies here. The same thing applies here. Truman, Arkansas, we're still seeing 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes and a lot of tremors here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes. What happened after 3 a.m. this morning? 3:15 a.m. on the red line here. A lot of seismic energy, huh? On the New Madrid Fault, eastern side of Arkansas. Truman, Arkansas this morning. Let's show you Truman, Arkansas this afternoon. Nothing more than tremors. Things calm down. Let's take you further south to to Tyrons, Arkansas this morning. Look at this. We used to see nothing more than tremors here at Tyrons, Arkansas, to the southeast side of Arkansas. Now, folks, guess what? We're not just seeing tremors anymore. We're seeing minor earthquakes as well. 2.8 earthquakes here. One 2.8 at 9, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9:06 this morning. Another one about 5 minutes later at 9:13 this morning. .8, maybe 2.9 earthquakes. All the rest of these are minor earthquakes and tremors. Tyrons, Arkansas this morning. Let's look at Tyrons, Arkansas this afternoon. Look at this, guys. Minor earthquakes and small earthquakes. We had a 3.0 earthquake at approximately 12:40 this afternoon. 12:40 this morning right here. At approximately 1:13 this afternoon. 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes. Back to back. Lasting about 10, 12 seconds apiece. All the rest of these are minor earthquakes and tremors. Tyrons, Arkansas this afternoon. That's still a lot of information here. Would you like to see Louisiana? I've got Louisiana here, guys. Guess what? The Ritter, Louisiana this morning. Nothing more than tremors until later this morning. After 9:30 this morning. After 10:15 this morning. 10:19 a.m. this morning, a 2.8 earthquake hit. At 10:10 this morning, another 2.8, 2.9 earthquake hit. At 11:11 a.m. this morning, another 2.8, 2.9 earthquake hit. We've never seen this before at DeRidder, Louisiana. We're seeing it now. This is the southern end of the New Madrid Fault. The southern end of the New Madrid Fault. Let's show you this afternoon. The Ritter, Louisiana this afternoon, the same thing happens. This time at 12:17 this afternoon. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. 1:04 this afternoon. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Minor earthquakes after that until 2:35 this afternoon. 3.0 earthquake this afternoon here in the Ritter, Louisiana. Incredible. Incredible, guys. Louisiana's having earthquakes like we've never seen it before. One other place to see here in Louisiana. I want to take you now to Pioneer, Louisiana. These are nothing more than tremors. Nothing more than tremors here. Let's go to Pioneer, Louisiana this afternoon. Again, tremors here in Pioneer, Louisiana as well. These are the most tremors we've seen here in Pioneer, Louisiana. Yes, we've seen tremors, but nothing like this. These are continuous tremors here. Continuous tremors. What do you think of the new Madrid fault now? What do you think about the new Madrid fault now? It's moving, isn't it? Again, we have never seen this kind of activity before. It's increased, and there are more earthquakes as well. An increase in magnitude and an increase in number of earthquakes. Okay? Incredible. Now, Linda Covington is talking about phones that were donated by Elon Musk. First, Elon Musk was called by President Trump because President Trump found out that there was no communication with law enforcement, fire, and paramedics in North Carolina, in the mountains of North Carolina. So President Trump called Elon Musk. Elon Musk sent plane loads of Starlink satellite systems. Plane loads of Starlink satellite systems, and Elon Musk sent his engineers to install communications for fire, police, and paramedics. And he also encouraged other citizens to come to those locations so they could link into the Starlink system, their Starlink system, to have Wi-Fi to be able to connect with their loved ones via telephone. But it didn't stop there. Did you folks know that Elon Musk has come out with a Tesla phone? A Tesla telephone, similar to what you see me here. This is a Samsung. But Elon Musk has come out with a Tesla phone. And yes, the people here in North Carolina are recipients of the Tesla phones. The Tesla phones are not like normal cell phones. The Tesla phones are linked up to Starlink via satellites. Imagine your cell phone carrier selling you a $100 Tesla phone. And yet that's exactly how much they cost, $100. I paid well over that for this phone. And I'm still paying for it every month. The same thing with my wife's Samsung phone. Elon Musk is selling his phones for $100. And they link up to the satellite system. Better communications and faulty less faulty communications as well, because those phones are not linked to ground-based systems. They're linked to satellites. Incredible. Incredible. So yes, we have a lot to thank Elon Musk for, and for also helping President Trump. Incredible. Does anyone have any questions? Angela's asking what state the Demon Catman lives in. He lives in England. He lives in the east of England. Don Patoka says service to others is the rent we pay for our room in heaven. True. True. Folks, I wanted to tell you what's going on. You guys keep asking me. I keep telling you that we're having more earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. We're having stronger earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. I believe sometime within the next 2 years, the New Madrid Fault is going to give up. It's going to give up to a 7.0, 8.0 earthquake. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I've told you about earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. The number of earthquakes is increasing, and the magnitude of those earthquakes is also increasing. We are going to see a major earthquake, a Cascadia megathrust earthquake, within the next 5 years in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to see a major earthquake in Southern California, hopefully this year. And I hate to say that. I said hopefully. Why did I say that? Because it's going to happen whether I say it or not. We are going to have a major earthquake in Southern California. It's a matter of time. That major earthquake is going to be anywhere from a 6.5 to a 7.5 earthquake. We've been talking about it for quite some time. We've been talking about this for quite some time. Now, does anybody have any questions about anything we've talked about? My buddy Don Patoka. I've known Don for a very long time. I respect the man. I love him. He's a good friend and he's a good servant in the Lord's kingdom. He says if you can't sleep, don't count sheep, talk to the shepherd. Surgery said amen. I agree. Talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord. I go back to this book. For the past few days, we've been talking about information from this book by Gordon B. Hinckley called Standing for Something. This evening, we're talking about getting all our understanding we can get. No matter how old we become, we can acquire knowledge and use it. We can gather wisdom and profit from it. We can grow in progress, and we can improve. And in the process, we can strengthen the lives of those within our circle of influence. Who is within the circle of influence of each one of us? Our family, our close friends, and even the people we work with. Now, brothers and sisters, I love to learn. Most of you that know me know that I relish any opportunity I can to acquire knowledge. I believe in and have vigorously supported throughout my life the pursuit of education for myself and for others. I've gotten a college degree. From that time forward, my search for knowledge has never been satiated. I pursue knowledge every day, as I have reported tonight, and I keep sharing that information with you. From my point of view, learning is both a practical matter and also a spiritual one. Gordon B. Hinckley says, reduced to its simplest definition, education is a training of the mind and the body. Education is a great conversion process under which abstract knowledge becomes useful and productive activity. It is something that we need never stop. No matter how old we become, we can acquire knowledge and use it. We can gather wisdom and profit from it. We can grow in progress and improve our lives. And again, in the process, we can strengthen the lives of those within our reach, within our circle of influence. We can enrich our lives. We can enrich our lives dramatically. How? Through the miracle of reading and exposure even to the arts. The older I grow, the more I enjoy the words of thoughtful authors, thoughtful writers, ancient and modern, including the scriptures. I savor that which they have learned and processed and recorded for others to read. I have never stopped learning. I love the scriptures. Now, Lord has taught us that the glory of God is intelligence, and that the Almighty takes delight in our efforts to improve and enrich and enhance our minds. We live in a world where knowledge is expanding. It's expanding at an ever-accelerating rate. We must learn to drink deeply from the phenomenal reservoir of wisdom and human experience that we get into. May I be so bold as to suggest that far too many people, far too much time, memorized by mindless dribble, that too often inhabits the vision of airwaves, videos, and other forms of electronic media. What a contrast it is, a refreshing and liberating contrast to read the great literature of the ages, or the Word of God as recorded in sacred books of Scripture. Now, I'm not Gordon B. Hinckley. I don't have classics in my home, except by a man that I learned while I was playing cards as a child. Tom Sawyer. How many of us read Tom Sawyer? I read those books. I relished his experiences. Yes, it was fiction, but I relished it. How many of us have read The Christmas Story? How many of us have read The Christmas Story, written by an author, about a little man, a little boy, and an older man that had a business that employed the little boy's father, and how Bob Cratchit, the boy's father, had issues with the owner of his company. And all of a sudden, what happened? What happened to the owner of that company? He was visited by angels. He didn't even realize. They told him to straighten his act up and treat people right. I learned a great deal from that story as well. A lot. We can learn a lot from great authors in our books. We can learn a lot from the scriptures. At an early age, perhaps without even realizing it at the time, I came to believe that we must never stop learning. The more we learn, the more we are in a position to learn. I urge parents everywhere to make a determined effort to create and cultivate a learning environment within the walls of your home. Make your home an atmosphere of learning and the growth of your children, the growth of the people around you, your families. Children who are exposed to books at early age have a scholastic advantage throughout their lives. And children that are exposed to the scriptures will love the scriptures for the rest of their lives as well. That is why I love the scriptures so much myself. Read the scriptures. Read the scriptures. I've told you throughout the years some of my favorite scriptures. Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto man, to the Jew first and to the Greek. Each one of us. Each one of us. Then one of my other favorite scriptures in Philippians. I have several wonderful scriptures in Philippians I love, that I've learned a lot. First, chapter 1 in Philippians, verses 3, 4, and 5. I thank my God upon every remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you, in making requests for joy, for your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now. Then I pop over to chapter 4 in Philippians. I've learned a lot. I've learned a heck of a lot. Because here in Philippians, Paul is talking to each one of us again. How we strengthen our faith. And through our prayers and our faith, we're strengthened through the scriptures. In chapter 4, verse 13, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. Just like Paul, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. I ask all of you to do the same. Read good books. Share your knowledge with your friends, your family, your children and grandchildren. Read the scriptures to them. I go over to Colossians chapter 1. In verse 9 it says, For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and to desire that you might be filled with the knowledge of the will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding. And the kicker, verse 10, that you might walk worthy of the Lord, unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every work, and increasing in the knowledge of God. Brothers and sisters, I ask that you do the same. You're going to find wonderful messages in the scriptures. Memorize certain verses. Why? Because at some point during your life, you may not have the book of scriptures with you. If you have those memorized in your mind, you'll be able to recall certain scriptures whether you're talking with somebody or you just want a spiritual lift. You will have those scriptures memorized in your mind. And those memorizations will lift your spirit up. I promise you that. Linda Covington is talking about 2 LDS missionaries. She asked me for a copy of the Book of Mormon. So I sent 2 LDS missionaries over her with a copy of the Book of Mormon. They've been meeting with her since. Yes, I sent missionaries to her house. I have sent many missionaries to people's homes when they've asked, and sometimes without even asking. Because I believe those young men and women have messages of spirituality that they can share with each one of us. That's why I do what I do. That's why I teach Sunday school on Sundays. That's why I share devotionals that I just shared with you. Because I want to help lift you up. I want to make each one of us better people. And we can do that. Linda Covington says, take the scriptures to your refrigerator, remember. I've done that as well. Carol and I downstairs on the refrigerator have many scriptures there. Because we love to see that. And we're able to joke around with each other. Did you see the scripture this morning? Did you see the scripture this afternoon? Did you see the note I left for you? Yes. It's a wonderful thing. Brothers and sisters, I hope you've been edified by the things we discussed today. I shared with you what's happening on the East Coast. I've shared with you what's happening all over the world. I shared with you what's happening on the New Madrid Fault. It's moving. It has been moving. It's moving still. I'm asking each of you to become prepared. Be prepared. It's not just a Boy Scout motto. It's a lifestyle. Be prepared. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow night when we come on the air at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be talking about emergency preparedness. I'm asking each one of you to find questions in your lives, questions that you might ask me, that I might answer for you on ways that you can be prepared. Please come to our table tomorrow with questions on how to be prepared. We're going to be taking questions, and I'm going to give you more information on how to be prepared and not scared. Brothers and sisters, I love you, or I would not even do this. Ernie Martinez says he loves God, our Father, and Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. He says he reads the Bible and memorizes Scripture all his life. Thank you, Ernie. Thank you, too. Folks, we do this for all of us. My wife encourages me to come on the air. My wife encourages me with ideas all day long and shares those with me. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I hope you can take the things that we've given you today and make them a part of your life and to prepare for what's going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. Tomorrow night we'll be discussing it more. I pray that you will be lifted up. Faith and Truth, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. Haven't seen you in a while. Brothers and sisters, I ask the Lord to be with you. I ask the Lord to bless you throughout your life. May God be with you this day and always. May God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you tomorrow evening with Emergency Management Associates, the Preparedness Edition. Have a good night, folks. We love you very much. See you soon. God bless. Good night.